All right, so we're going to dig into chapter 5 here. Um, as it's titled, chapter 5 regards Nehemiah's helping the poor, which I think is a really interesting topic that it probably is very likely a God thing that this is being brought up this week because of what's happening in the world right now. God's people at this point in chapter 5 have been making significant progress on the rebuilding process. God's at work amongst his people. They're following Nehemiah's direction, who is taking direct leadership from God. Guy is constantly in prayer, constantly looking for wisdom and guidance and leadership from God that he can then direct toward God's people. And the wall is halfway built, which, as a reference last week, is not always necessarily the best spot to be because we tend to look back and say, man, we've done a lot of work. Man, we've worked so hard on this and we're still only halfway done. We've still got this far to go, but it's still certainly better than where they are when they started. They've made a lot of progress. And I really can't help but see the parallels in Nehemiah's story in our world today. With the current health crisis, it seems as though much of the world, whether it's the media or our community or our coworkers, want to reconstruct this as a crisis based on fear. But Paul tells us specifically in 2 Timothy 1:7, we've heard this a number of times this week, said with confidence that God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. This should set us apart from the world in this time, the world in which we live. We should be distinct here, not because we're cavalier or flippant about the health crisis or any other significant issue facing humanity, not just this, but as it exists today, but because we face struggles not with dejection, but with joy. We face trials with fear, not with fear, but with confidence, because Jesus is our foundation. So this points to other divisions, not just, again, in this current health crisis, but we can look at divisions that we struggle to overcome as believers today. Think about the divisions and denominations we have even in the church. When we undertake something big for God, we can really anticipate outside attacks on God's work and how to deal with them, but oftentimes we kind of neglect what's happening, the obstacles that we're going to face from within. So Nehemiah chapter 5 is really all about those who have, the haves, failing to consider the needs of those who have not, those who do not have. And I think the thing that I really want to guide this study and the thing that I want us to keep going back to, and I'm going to pull it back up at the end, is this question: what are we doing with the opportunities we have? What are we doing with the opportunities that God gives us to be examples for the body of Christ? Are we panicking? Are we fearful? Are we leaders? Are we stepping out for God and being examples of his confidence rather than whatever the world may be giving everybody in a given moment? So we'll go from there.